Hello and welcome to Josh's 5-minute book reviews. Happy Sunday. Today we're talking about Senlin Ascends by Josiah Bancroft, and we're going to talk about who wrote the book, when the book was published, what goes on in the book, and my actual review out of 5 stars. So let's take a look. Senlin Ascends was written by Josiah Bancroft, and it was initially self-published in 2013. The series is called the Books of Babel series, and there's going to be eventually 3 more. There's currently 2 more. The second one is The Arm of the Sphinx, which was published in 2018, and then the third one is The Hod King, which was published in 2019. The Fall of Babel will be published in 2021. That's at least what it says online. That says that's when the next one will be. The next one will be published. If you look, the reason why it's called the Books of Babel is because it deals with the Tower of Babel from biblical mythology, which originally was said that they wanted to build a tower that was big enough to reach the heavens. So in this world, that was never stopped. They continued building that Tower of Babel. Ended up getting so tall, and now it has all these different ringdoms, as they're called. In these ringdoms, they're each one level of the tower. Each one of them kind of has their own. It has their own government, their own bureaucracy, the people who live there. There's different things. There's different levels, and of course, a lot of times the lower levels are for the people who are a little bit less fancy than the higher levels. That kind of stuff. It's a really cool book because it's a super interesting and different concept, which is why I really, really like it. The series is set in a world of steampunk. If you know what steampunk is, it's kind of almost an artificial version of the late 1800s, early 1900s. There's airships and machines that aren't around on earlier things. There's also guns involved, which is something that's a little bit different than a lot of fantasy novels. I would say it's considered a fantasy novel just because of its own setting, but it's not a standard swords and bows and spears kind of things. Another interesting thing is just, like I said, they're from a small little town, the 2 main characters, and it's kind of interesting. It's that whole city versus country dynamic where they end up getting lost in this crazy place that has, drugs and sex and violence and theft and all these things that they're not used to seeing because they're from this small little world, and it breaks them into this crazy world that they've never been a part of. I don't want to get too much into it because that's part of it, is that I'm trying to encourage people to read the book. It's gotten rave reviews, and it's honestly one of my favorite books that I've read in the last couple years. My biggest appreciation of the book is just how creative and different the setting is. I know that seems like something simple, but it's so different than almost any other fantasy series that I've really gotten into. It's just in a completely different place. I am excited to try and read the next one. There's a couple other things I want to read before I do that, so I probably will wait on reading the second one, but since the new one's coming out in 2021, I might go ahead and start it now. But if I do decide to go ahead and read the second one, I'll give a review on that one as well. So, all in all, I think it's a pretty cool book. It's an interesting book. It's a different book. I'm going to go ahead and give it 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was a cool concept, and it was a nice, fun read. So, hopefully you guys will pick it up and check it out for yourself. So, all in all, I think it's a pretty cool book. It's an interesting book. It's a different book. I'm going to go ahead and give it 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was a cool concept, and it was a nice, fun read. So hopefully you guys will pick it up and check it out for yourself. So that's going to be it for me today. Thank you for coming and listening to my 5-minute review. Like I said, this is kind of my toe into the water just to see how things go, see how things sound, see how things look. Just trying out the equipment and making sure everything looks okay. But I'll probably go ahead and do a couple more of these just to see how I like them and continue to post them. But thanks for stopping in.